people clearly hate little boys because little boys grow up to be men, and the narrative is patriarchy is what's wrong with everything. Even though when people use that word patriarchy, they're talking about 1% of the male population. So I don't really even have to give you any film examples of people hating little boys. But when I say we're scared to death of little girls, the definitive, the ultimate example is Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Rob Ager has already done an excellent video on the subliminal themes in The Exorcist that kind of touch on what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so the book comes out right at the beginning of the 70s, where you have conservative parents wondering what's going on. Hey man, their baby boomer children, listen to rock music, free love, all that. So there's a climate of fear with what's going on with the children, And the character in the book and film, The Exorcist, is at a pubescent age where it's clear that the subtext and maybe the reason for her odd behavior is that she's going through puberty. So why do we fear little girls? Well, it's I don't want to say the word. I'll go back to boys. Why do we hate little boys? We hate little boys because they grow up to be men. Why are we afraid of little girls? Because little girls grow up to become creatures with a certain power, a power that men don't have. Now, some evil men come and take that power by force. Some weak men simp for that force.
They be calling me, man. I just gotta go to it.
10 years ago, we had the little girl, an orphan, very scary. And once again, we also have the power dynamic of right before the reveal that the orphan's actually an adult woman. There's a scene of a power. I'm not going to use the word, but she's using her female power, and it's quite disturbing and unsettling. Let's see. No, there's the twins in The Shining, right? These iconic images. The only little boy iconic image I can think of is Damien in The Omen, and Damien is more of a cipher. And again, he's scary in that movie because the Judeo-Christian boomer audience knew, that guy's going to grow up to be the Antichrist. So again, it's more like it's more like a promise of evil to come.
I'm going to come.
Just a few years ago when I was in grad school, one of my most effective teachers, she did something that wasn't very useful when she was working from a specific text. And I think the 4 or 5 classes I took with her, she always used the same text. We had other books that we read and articles, but there was a workbook, instruction book, and an how to write book that she would use for every class. And it was written by a white dude, an old white dude, and she would always have to say at the beginning of each class, and sometimes throughout the class, now, I know blank is an old white dude, but there's some really good instruction in these books. Why would you say that? Why would you say that unless it's generally accepted that there's something innately wrong with what that man is?
No!
So what do you think? Do you think people really hate little boys and are afraid of little girls?